My name is Leonard Peduto Jr. I'm of counsel with the law firm of Kazira and Hartz. We're located in Roseland, New Jersey. I do a significant amount of matrimonial work. Depending upon the day of the week or the week of the month or the month of the year, I could be spending all of my time doing it. At other times, I'm not doing any of it because I'm doing other kinds of legal work for other kinds of clients. So the first divorce case I ever got to do was in, I think, around 1984. I represented a business client doing business litigation for them. One of the members of the family, and it was a large extended family, was getting divorced. She had a prenuptial agreement with her husband. They felt that the prenuptial agreement was unfair to her. They asked me if I would handle the case for them, or actually for the daughter, and suggested to me that there was really no difference between what I was doing in trying to break up a prenup versus trying to do contract breach work, which is what I did for them. And it seemed like a natural slide, if you can call it that, and it worked out very well because we had the prenup thrown out. And people, the funny thing about matrimonial practice is if you do a good job for one client, they will refer their friends to you. And in this instance, the woman in question was very happy with the services that the firm provided to her, and she started sending people to see me. When I started law school, I wanted to be a criminal defense lawyer. If you want to talk about things being in a hierarchy, criminal defense work is not necessarily high up in the hierarchy, one. Two, you can actually earn more money as a lawyer doing things other than criminal defense work. Normally, the first interview that I have with a prospective client, I ask them whether or not they've been going through any kind of marital counseling or therapy to see if whatever damage they see in the relationship can be repaired, and if so, whether or not they're willing to undertake the effort that's required to repair that damage. Sometimes it's too far gone at that point. They will have tried counseling. They will not have succeeded in counseling. You can hear different stories about why they didn't succeed in counseling. Sometimes it's because one person doesn't open up. Sometimes it's because one person's unwilling to compromise. Sometimes it's because they just don't see it from my perspective. You can suggest to people or even recommend to people that maybe they want to go back and try it with a different mindset. And I'm talking about speaking with the person who feels that counseling doesn't work because their spouse isn't making it work versus the spouse who you're talking to isn't making it work. You can gently suggest to people like that maybe they need to approach it differently and maybe they can repair it, and that what they really need to consider, particularly if they have kids, is what's the effect of the divorce going to be on their children when they're now living in separate households? What's the effect of the divorce going to be on you as either a single parent having custody of the children, or as a now out of the house dad, which is usually the way it works out, although that's changing a lot these days. And also in terms of finance, it can be a very expensive proposition. I think most people don't recognize how emotionally intense it's going to be for them. They think that it's a simple process where you can just simply walk into court and it'll be done. It doesn't work that way, and it never works that way unless you have two people who walk into your office and they've already worked out all their arrangements that they need to work out with respect to their property, with respect to support, and with respect to their children. But I've been doing this for 24 years. I think that happened once. So the great multitude of cases, they don't understand what the process is. To a certain extent, that's our fault because we don't really publicize what goes on in the process. I try to acquaint people with what's going to be involved for them in terms of the paperwork that you have to file with the court, the kinds of issues that you're going to have to get into with respect to things like valuing assets, particularly if they own businesses or if they have investment real estate, what's involved in terms of constructing family budgets, because courts want to look at what the historical record has been for your expense base for purposes of determining things like whether or not to award alimony. Also, you have special circumstances with respect to kids. Talented kids, developmentally disabled kids. There's a huge amount of information that needs to be assembled and presented to a court for the court to make decisions on all of the issues that are involved in matrimonials. I mean, one of the, I don't want to call it a joke because it's not a joke, but If you ask me, would I rather try and settle a complex patent infringement case or a matrimonial, I'll tell you I'll take the patent infringement any day because it's only got a couple of issues. In a matrimonial, you have lists of issues that are like this.